gorgeous Shasta Lake rainbow. Wild fish. Okay, so here's the rig that fish came on. I'm using my hybrid lead core rig. I've got another video on that. You can look that up. It's my high-tech lead core. We've got it coming down to a 6-inch UV sling blade. Got about 4 or 5 feet a leader, and a Johnson Slim, I believe that's a Slim Fish wobbling spoon. As you can see, it's a large spoon. The fish are feeding on shad. There's big balls of shad out here. I can see them on the monitor. So we're trolling in and around the shad, and this is chrome and blue. It's about the right size for the shad the fish are feeding on. We've hooked several fish this morning. We've got a nice brown. We got that gorgeous rainbow, and we're going to keep working these marks. Howdy folks, Cal Kellogg here. Well, I'm coming to you today with a viewer question. Brandy Malta asked, what kind of blades and dodgers do I use when I'm out trout fishing? And it's actually a good question, and she is one of our few female viewers here on the channel. This is Boys Town over here, so I was super excited to get a question from a lady angler out there, and I grabbed a big handful of blades. These are all the blades I have in my double-sided tackle box when I'm out in the kayak. You know, space is important, so I don't carry a whole lot of stuff. In the opening, you saw me catch a fish. I was out in my power boat with my wife. That's from a couple years ago. We were trolling a shad pattern spoon behind a 6-inch UV sling blade at Shasta. We were probably over a couple 100 feet of water, trolling 30 feet deep. There were some pods of shad around. There were some rainbows and kings feeding on those shad. And I was using that 6-inch blade to pull fish in from a distance. And the theory is, they feel the thumps of that dodger, they see the flashes, they think, hey, there's a trout or a king over there feeding. They come over there to check things out. They see that little shad pattern spoon trailing, you know, that thumping dodger. They see what they expect to see. They expect to see a shad, wham, fish on. And in that situation, it worked out. We caught a very nice rainbow doing it. I really like 6-inch blades. Here's the 6-inch blades that I have in my kayaking tackle box now. I have my watermelon pattern 6-inch sling blade. Wouldn't go fishing without it. I've caught so many big fish behind this. Don't use it every time I go fishing. Don't even use it every month, but I need to have it in my box because it's worked for me so well in the past, and it's going to work for me in the future. I have a ton of confidence in that blade. Number 2, tried and true. This might be the same blade I was using when I caught that fish with my wife at Shasta. 6-inch green UV sling blade. Been running this for years. It's one of my go-tos. Again, ton of confidence. It's one of the dodgers I really like to pair with a spoon when I'm targeting kings and rainbows. For whatever reason, that watermelon one I just showed you, this one right here, this one seems to work very well with hoochies, and I've had a lot of success trolling white and or blue hoochies behind this blade. And then I got a couple of bright ones. I got a bright orange, one of these are my signature series dodgers. These are my own brand. I've got my 6-inch bright orange with the big eye on it, and I've got a hot pink 6-inch the same blade with the big eye on it. So that kind of rounds out my color selection. Those are the blades that I reach for when I'm working open water, fairly deep water. The fish are feeding on bait fish. I'm looking to draw fish in and show them a bait fish imitation. I'm reaching for those big 6-inch blades. They work well. You can troll them fast. They just flat out perform. Now, having said that, you do need some small dodgers, and this is what I'm carrying, you know, in terms of small dodgers. Sometimes I run these with a spoon, but usually when I break out the small dodgers, it's a more subtle bite. I'm trolling a threaded worm, threaded gulp, a gulp minnow, maybe a fly, maybe a grub, maybe a hoochie, but I'm seldom going to use a small dodger with a spoon. It's just a subtler presentation, and in a lot of cases, if I'm using a hoochie or I'm using a threaded worm, I'm utilizing the blade to put out flash and vibration, but also to add action to that offering. So number 1 choice, again, it's a little different pattern, but it is a 4-inch watermelon pattern sling blade. It's a killer. It's been working for me for a long time. Just have a lot of confidence in it. Smaller version of my go-to green UV sling blade. This is the 4-inch. Put a little white hoochie behind that, tough trout bite, put a worm behind it. This has been a killer at Folsom, by the way. Drop it down 30 feet, put a threaded worm back there about 10 inches. It's money. If you want to slow down, you want to get down to 1 mile an hour, put a little bend in that blade. Money. Works great. And then I'm going to show you a couple of my signature series dodgers. The watermelon Diamondback. And as you can see, I really like watermelon. Fish in the ocean respond to watermelon. Fish in lakes respond to watermelon. It's just one of those patterns that just flat out fishes. I love to pair these with grubs. I love to pair these with threaded worms or a gulp worm. They're not obtrusive. They're not going to spook the fish. They're just the right size. They put out flash, vibration, and they add a fair amount of action to whatever you put behind them. Put it back 2 Dodger links, bam. Have a chrome version of the same. This is my Diamondback in chrome on chrome. It's very simple. High Sierras, French Meadows, someplace like that. Put a threaded worm 8-10 inches behind that, and it's going to work. It's going to salvage the day for you. If you get out there, you're on a tough bite, this kind of stuff works. It also works at Folsom. Anywhere that you're encountering trout that want to play hard to get, a small dodger with a threaded worm or gulp or a grub, that can be a real game changer for you. And last but not least, this is my mini Sidewinder. It's silver. It's kind of got silver foil, chrome back. Same deal. Put a worm behind it, grub behind it, something like that. Get ready to yell fish on. You don't see me pulling these typically unless I've tried spoons, I've tried mag lips, I've tried flies, and I'm struggling and I need to get hit. Out comes the night crawlers, out comes the gulp, and out comes the small blades, and I can usually generate a strike with one of those combinations. So those are my blades, Brandy. That's all I got to share with you today. Of course, you need some flashers too. You need a set or two of flashers, but that's pretty much it. A lot of times we get too caught up in gear. We think we need 50 different dodgers or 50 different colors of dodgers. No, you need to be able to work through your presentation. Big and bold, more subtle and smaller. Have confidence in your presentations. Have the gear you need to work through that kind of continuum. Fast, aggressive, large, all the way down to small and subtle, and you're going to go a long way to consistently catching trout and landlocked king salmon. That's how it works. Think about it like this. Commercial salmon trawler outside the Golden Gate. Guy's fishing to pay his mortgage and his payment on his boat. He's not out there testing gear. He's not into glitz. He's not into glamour. He doesn't have dodgers in 50 different colors. He's got some very basic dodgers. He's got some spoons. He's got some hoochies, and he's got some anchovies. And he's running hoochies, spoons, and rigged bait. Beyond that, he's depending on his experience, his savvy, his ability to find the fish. He knows what they feed on. They're out there feeding on anchovies, maybe a small herring once in a while, maybe small rockfish. But he knows that they're out there most of the time feeding on bait fish. He's going to put a bait fish presentation at the right level in the water column at the right time, and he's going to catch those fish. That's the bottom line. If you approach your trout fishing that way, you're going to catch a lot of fish too, and you're going to catch a lot of big fish. It's situational. Match the hatch, put something in front of the fish that triggers that strike. If the fish are hot, if the fish are in open water, they're feeding on bait fish, go big, go fast, trigger those strikes. That's not working. Slow it down, go smaller, go subtler, and you'll salvage your day. Simple as that. Not tough. Anyway, I'm Kel Kellogg. I'm signing off. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Hit that notification bell. And if you're looking for my signature series dodgers or any of the other trout gear that I sell, go on over to the Fish Hunt Shoot Production store. We've got a bunch of great gear in there at great prices, stuff that I believe in, stuff that you see me fishing right here on the channel almost every day. Anyhow, I'm Kel Kellogg. I'm signing off for now. I will catch you next time right here on YouTube. Thanks for the question, Brandy. Keep on watching.